Hello, welcome to my couch, the corner of my couch where I tend to curl up and these days I sit and knit. In my previous video, I told you about how I had knitted my first sweater and I was so excited and I'm still excited. So I guess you could say went a little overboard, got completely obsessed because this is the arm of the new sweater I'm knitting. And here is, the body, I guess you could say, of the sweater I'm knitting. So yes, what have I been doing lately? Knitting, like all the time. So that's fun. And the yarn is wool. I really hope I can wear it. Wool tends to make me very itchy, so that's a bit of a struggle. But I have been kind of testing this in a way, I guess you could say. And I think I might be able to use it. I really hope so. Because, a new sweater is always nice. These days, sure, it's summer, it's warm outside, it's lovely. Right now it's cloudy, but it was bright sun earlier. It was great. I loved it. I try to avoid some of the sun because I do not like getting a sunburn. They're uncomfortable and I prefer not to. But yeah, learning how to knit a sweater is so much fun. And what can I say? It's a new skill. I think skills are important. I think it's important to learn something. Not necessarily every day, because that would be a lot of learning. And even though I like learning, I mean, to learn something properly, you have to practice it. And I guess you could say that's what I'm currently doing. I'm practicing learning how to knit a sweater. Even though the first one did turn out pretty good, in my opinion. Especially for a first sweater. I think it was definitely not perfect, but really good. And these days, it's still warm outside, so it's not a problem. But, winter is coming. It doesn't quite feel like that outside, which is great. But winter will be coming, and I live in Norway, and yeah, it's kind of like all over though. Electricity has gotten expensive, like really expensive. And I'm starting to have a feeling that some of the reason my electricity bill has been somewhat higher is not just that. I think my freezer is dying because it used to be on to freeze for a while and then didn't have to work for a bit because it was cold enough, and now it's working all the time. It's very much working overtime. And I have a feeling that's expensive. And well, the electricity being so expensive, and it ain't gonna get any better anytime soon. And I, at the moment, have enough money. I'm grateful for that. But if the prices keep rising as they have been lately, I mean, petrol or gasoline or whatever you put in your car to make it drive. I do not have an electric car. I have one that runs on petrol. Is that what you would call it? I don't know. But that has gotten expensive. And food, I have certain things that I enjoy eating, and some of those things they have not doubled in price, but they're not that far from it. I mean, There is this meat, for instance, that I like to eat that used to be about 50 bucks or 50 Norwegian kroners. That is now 70. Definitely not double, but like that's a big like jump. And I've seen it like all over. Everything is going up in price, which I know to a certain point it is normal. But that is not normal. Like take broccoli for instance. I like broccoli. Who am I kidding? I love broccoli. And that went from like about 15 Norwegian kroners in regular price to be like 25. Not far from double, in other words. And then I see next week they have it on sale for 15. Thank God. I'm gonna buy me some of that. I also need to buy a new freezer. One that actually works properly instead of working overtime all the time. And then the electricity. It's gonna get expensive. I still haven't found a new house. That's gonna be expensive too. Buy a new one. But, so that is not the reason I'm knitting sweaters. I just learned a new skill. It'll be expensive heating the house, and if I have warm clothing, I might not have to keep my house as warm. That would be good. And you know, this is so soft, so I don't think I will mind all that much when it comes to that part of it. So yeah, I'm knitting a sweater because I'm learning a new skill, and to truly learn something you have to practice. And skills are important. There are so many skills I do not have. There are so many skills that I wish I had. And then there are some skills that I do have, thankfully. Like I knew how to knit socks, and I have been doing that a lot, so I have many pairs ready, so no shortage of those. But I think especially how the world is these days, learning a new skill kind of even more, if it's a skill you can learn that you can market and gain something from. I mean, I'm gaining a sweater when I'm practicing this skill, which is great. And I could even knit a sweater for someone else and sell it, or knit a sweater and then sell it to someone else. That could earn me some money. But I think it's important to learn skills these days with how the world currently is, because it's kind of going to shits at the moment. Oh wait, not just at the moment. It's been doing that for a while. And yeah, I don't like it. I have been, this summer I've been trying to practice the skill of growing food. Yeah, my food growing skills were way better last year. I have no idea what happened, but it must have been something. But I grew a lot more food last year than I did this year. What I have done this year is I went to the forest with my parents and we picked blueberries. And then I made blueberry jam, which is so good. The only downside of eating that blueberry jam is that when you're done eating, you need to brush your teeth because it's blue. Tongue is blue, the teeth are blue, the lips are blue. Everything is blue after you eat homemade blueberry jam. Because we have the ones like the ones that grow in the forest. I know you can get ones to buy, I think, at the garden centers, but they're different. They're called blueberries, but they're white inside. And they're sweet, but they don't have the same flavor, and they definitely do not have the color. Because the blueberries you can pick out and about in the woods here, they're really blue, but they're so good. So I was practicing the skill of making jam. You boil it, put a lot of sugar in it, to not too much, but at the same time not too little. And then making sure everything is done, like you have to sterilize the glasses, stuff like that to make sure the jam don't go bad. It's a whole thing. I mean, and if you don't do it right, sure, you can eat it in the beginning, but if you want to store it and not eat everything right away, you have to do your best to do it right so it doesn't go bad and get mold and all, because that's not good. You don't want to eat that. But skills are important, and these days and the coming bit, skills are going to be even more important, I feel. I mean, isn't the US and about to be, or like on the verge of becoming or being in a recession? I mean, I live in Norway, so don't know that much about it. I just hear YouTubers talking. But learn some skills, something that's useful. Like if you have yarn, because I mean, if you're gonna knit, you're gonna need yarn. But if you have yarn, you can knit. You can knit socks, you can knit sweaters, and those things are useful. It helps keep people warm. And winter in Norway, depending on where you are in Norway, but they're generally quite cold, especially if you're far up north, which I'm not, thank God. Like dark all day long throughout all winter. No thank you. They do have the northern lights though, so there are some good things. But I live somewhat south in Norway, and even here, and unless you're by the coast, which I currently am, but even just at my parents' place, which is a little bit more inland, it's a lot colder in winter. They've had winters that go down to like minus 25 degrees Celsius. That's cold. You're gonna need some warm clothing. And other skills like baking and cooking and sewing and growing food. They're very limited what kind of food you can grow outside in winter, like none, because snow and ice and frost and all that. But build something, learn how to do something, anything really. That's a skill that can be used both to help yourself and to help others. Skills are important. I'm currently learning the skill of knitting, or the skill of knitting I have known for a long time. I first learned to knit when I was in kindergarten. I don't remember, but I've been told the story many times. I mean, I'm a rather stubborn person. I have always been, and then I don't know why, but at some point, one day, before my dad was supposed to take me to kindergarten, I refused to go until I had learned how to knit. So my dad, the hero at times, sat me down before we went to kindergarten and taught me how to knit. So I was accepting going to kindergarten. So the knitting part of it, I have known for a long, long time. The knitting a sweater, that's a recently acquired skill. And all skills, I mean, you can learn something, but you have to practice to get good at it. Doesn't mean you get perfect, and you don't have to be perfect at it, but you have to be able to do it. And the way to do it is to learn and then practice. And the cool thing about that is that when you practice a skill, you generally get better, and then you can add your own little flair to things. It's like, oh, I don't like that part of that skill, so I'm gonna switch it so it's more my style. It's my way. It's my way of doing things. Which is pretty cool in my opinion. But yeah. And kind of behind the camera today, I am making pizza. Homemade pizza. It's kind of my favorite type of pizza. So I have to go and continue making the pizza. And tell me what skill you would like to learn or what skill you have learned recently. Tell me in the comment section, and thank you for watching very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!